morning, fellow Nigerians, wherever you are watching us on Journalists Explain This. I'm your host, Nicolas, your friend in the School of Wisdom. And today, we know that we are still in the mood of felicitating the present administration for the first year in office with a surprise package. Don't forget, in May last year, May 29, 2023, we were given surprise of removal of fuel subsidy, and this year again, May 29, another surprise of bringing back old national anthem to become new national anthem. And my guest today is a versatile journalist who is going to look at this area together so that we know that the updates of the event. And please join me to welcome one of the versatile journalists, and Mr. Nicolas Ewu Chuku. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.
It's a pleasure having you on this program.
Thank you, my friend. It's nice seeing you. It's nice seeing Nigerians.
Okay.
Oníkìjì, èmi mo ránṣẹ́ sí ọ. Ìdí tí mo sì fi ní kó yọjú sí mi ni pé o mọ̀ pọ́lá lọ́dún Ògún wa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá.
Wo ìbọn tí ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ mi. Ìbọn tó ń wò yìí ò ń ṣe ìbọn lásán.
Wọ́n ti dáná wa o. Wọ́n á kó ẹrù mi kù kan. Gbogbo ẹrù mi pátá ni wọ́n kó.
Ẹ wá gbọ́ o, omi tuntun ti rú báyẹn jà kó ṣe ti wọnú ẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣé ogun láyé ni? Ṣé bá ti jagun àjàṣẹ́gun àti jagun àjàṣẹ́tẹ̀?
Bàbá wa ṣùgbọ́n ní tí ìlú bá dà àwọn olóyè ló máa kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ àmọ́ ìlú ìdá púpọ̀ àwọn aráàlú pátá la kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé ìlú dá.
Torí kò dáa, irú wa kọ́ ló yẹ wí. Àmọ́ gbàgbé pé nígbà náà àwọn olóyè olórí burúkú ló pọ̀ nínú.
Àwọn ọmọ ṣe bó yẹ kó yé gbogbo yín ni. Ebi fi kan dín kan lájọ ṣe.
Aláàbùkù ni ọ́ kò ṣe.
Bàbá ọgbọ́n mi lè dùn. Káàbọ̀.
Èṣù láàlú. Òkìrì. Ọ̀gbẹ́lẹ́kùn sunkún kẹ́rù ọbẹ̀.
Ẹ̀yin olóyè tó kù, ẹ̀yin ò rí nǹkan kan sọ sí tí ìyálóde wí yìí ni.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ dákun, ṣé gbogbo ohun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ìlú yìí lọ́tùn lósì kò tẹ́ yín lọ́rùn?
Ṣé wọn nìkan ló wà lé? Bóyá tó dá lè rẹ̀ wo jáde fún un.
Ó tọ́ ní ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn àgbà tó ní ẹni tá à ń wá lọ́nà lákòó.
Talẹ̀ wá ń wá lọ o.
Ìwọ ni.
Ìwọ ni. Talẹ̀ kò lọ́nà.
Ìwọ arínájà ni.
Ó tọ́ bí ó tọ́. Mo sọ fún ẹ pé ìlú ẹyẹrọ àfìbíṣẹ́ olóore ni wọ́n.
The package we had on May 29, 2024, bringing the old national anthem to become new after 46 years of jettisoning it. How do you look at it?
Well, that is one action that shows a great presence of political ignorance by this legislature. Because when you look at the idea behind state creation, behind a flag, behind an anthem, it is to evoke the spirit of the new nation, especially for nations that fought hard to get their independence from the colonial powers or by the colonial invaders. I'll prefer that word because we were on our own in Africa, taking our time from Nigeria to Congo to South Africa to the Sahel, and the British, the Germans, the French just sat down one day, I think in 1914, and partitioned Africa and shared it the way we share Salara during Ileya, which is next month, by the way, barely 2 weeks' time, without the consent of the governed. So for some, it was a harrowing experience. Lives were lost, properties were destroyed, our ancestors were pillaged into slave ships across the Sahara, up Europe, down America, padlocked with chains. Our grandmothers were sodomized, and unfortunately, in those slave ships, sometimes they had chaplains, men of God, that supervised and prayed over our invaders and our oppressors. So be that as it may, the name Nigeria was even given to us by Flora Shaw. some say she was a journalist, but some say she was an escort or concubine to Lord Lugard that accompanied him while he was down here. Now, when you look at the person who composed the anthem, she was even a ballet dancer. Francis Lindsay or Pierre something, or Francis Bed. Some account said it was written by Francis Bade and it was composed by Lindsay. But when Ambassador took over in 78, after Murtala's death, there was an attempt to nationalize the country. Of course, given his military background and one who was fortunate to end the civil war. So there were different entries. About 5 Nigerians.
Yes, they came together.
John Ilechuku, B.O. Aderibe, and it was composed by a policeman who was the head of the police band. Pa Benedict Odiase. And when you look at that anthem, Arise, O compatriots, guide our leaders right. Let the truth, let our youth know the truth.
Nicolas, what even surprised me is you can see even any government functions, if they are to pray, they use the second stanza of this national anthem. Oh God of creation.
Exactly.
I don't know so why.
So it's just unfortunate, and the speed, the momentum with which this house passed this bill should call for concern. So I don't. There are a lot of questions begging for answers. Our road, our power, our national grid needs urgent repair. Our borders are not safe. Insecurity is still an issue. I mean, the east of this country, they were commemorating their Heroes Day on May 30th, which for them was the day they commemorate the unarmed 6 million Biafrans, including women and children, that died during the war, in conjunction with Nigeria and her friends, who have forgotten us now that we need them the most on issues of Boko Haram, banditry, terrorism, piracy in the south, and insurgency in the southeast. Of course, I am not against the rights for self-determination.
But
nations, according to the report on Sudan, peace in 2 nations is better than war in 1.
Yes, of course.
And the right to self-determination is enshrined in the AU Charter and the United Nations Charter.
Of course, everybody deserve peace.
So, going back to that old anthem, it's obvious we want to go back to neo-colonialism, neo-imperialism.
Somebody even said that since you have changed the old one to new one, then we should go back to general government.
Some people say we should go back to the Union Jack and also change the plan. Anthems. Like Rwanda changed their anthem from Rwanda Rwasa to a big experience that they had. In Libya, for so long, their national anthem was Allah Akbar. Then after a time after the war they had with Egypt, they went back to Libya. But after Gaddafi's death and the new Libyan Ujamara took over, they went back to the Allah Akbar. But they removed the section that tied them to the Egyptian king or regent and replaced it with their Libyan national hero, Omar Mokhtar, that was involved in fighting against Italian takeover of Libya. So if they wanted a new one, we could have gotten a new one.
Because not to go back to the old one, bringing it as new one.
Even this discussion we had was given to us by General Absalam and his few friends.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that we could go back and have a baptism over. But not go back to the constitution that tied us to British imperialism.
And I think maybe in the way they operate, I think I feel like they should have consulted the other House Assembly, even Nigerians. There should be I don't think there should be a referendum.
You see,
to be done before they now come about with passing it.
You see, even when God wanted to save, even when God wanted to create man, he met the archangels,
at least,
the angels.
He consulted.
You could see even though he was omniscient and omnipresent and all-knowing, if he didn't call anybody, nobody would judge him. No. We can't question him. But because God himself was a Democrat, he said, let us make man. In any texts of the Bible, you would see it will be us, not I want to make man. Let me make man. So he consulted widely. In the democracy, even in military juntas, sometimes the junta head grudges the state of the nation and consults. IDP camps. It can lead to more women becoming widows. It can lead to more of our youths dying in the Mediterranean Sea while trying to japa. It can lead to loss of hope. It can even lead to increase in the abduction of journalists. Right now, as a last count, 46 journalists have been abducted in this country. A record that Abacha did not even hold. Yes. A record Abacha did not hold for all his tyranny. As a matter of fact, if you remember when there was the news of a coup, Chris Anyang, that brilliant female journalist, she received a call that her family her life will be threatened. But according to her, there was a compelling need to inform the public. One of the principal aim of journalism, wherever it is found.
So are you saying that the government is trying to gag journalists so that the people will not be informed adequately?
The government is trying to gag every free space. Social media, citizen journalism, traditional media, print media. I mean, look at Ballet Plaza over an issue of a phone and a customer and his soldiers.
Oníkìjì, èmi mo ránṣẹ́ sí ọ. Ìdí tí mo sì fi ní kó yọjú sí mi ni pé o mọ̀ pọ́lá lọ́dún Ògún wa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá.
Wo ìbọn tí ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ mi. Ìbọn tó ń wò yìí ò ń ṣe ìbọn lásán.
kù kan gbogbo ẹrù mi pátá ni wọ́n kó.
ẹ wá gbọ́ o omi tuntun tí ó báyẹn jà kó tó ṣe ti wọnú ẹ̀. ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣé ogun láyé ni ṣé bá a ti jagun àjàṣẹ́gun àti jagun àjàṣẹ́tẹ̀.
bàbá wa ṣùgbọ́n ní tí ìlú bá dà àwọn olóyè ló máa kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ àmọ́ ìlú ìdá púpọ̀ àwọn aráàlú pátá la kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé ìlú dá.
torí kò dáa irú wa kọ́ ló yá wí àmọ́ gbàgbé pé nígbà náà àwọn olóyè olórí burúkú ló pọ̀ nínú.
àmọ́ mo ṣe bó yẹ kó yé gbogbo yín ni ebi fi kan dí kan lájọ ṣe.
aláàbùkù ni ó ṣe.
bàbá gómìnà ògùn káàbọ̀.
èṣù láàlú òkìrì ọ̀gbẹ́lẹ́kùn sunkún kẹrù ọbẹ̀.
ẹ̀yin olóyè tó kù ẹ̀yin ò rí nǹkan kan sọ sí tí ìyálóde wí yìí.
ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi ẹ dákun ṣé gbogbo ohun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ìlú yìí lọ́tún lọ́sì tó tẹ́ yín lọ́rùn.
ṣé wọn nìkan ló wà lé. bóyá tó dálé rẹ̀ yóò jáde fún un.
ó tọ́ ní ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn àgbà tó ní ẹni tá à ń wá lọ́nà lákò.
talẹ̀ wá ń wá lọ o.
ìwọ ni.
ìwọ ni. talẹ̀ kò lọ́nà.
ìwọ arínájà ni.
ó tọ́ bí ó tọ́ mo sọ fún ẹ pé ìlú ẹyẹrọ àfìbíṣẹ́ olóore ni wọ́n.
We're still on journalists explain this, and my guess, like I said, is you can see very versatile journalist Nicolas. Welcome again to the program.
Thank you very much.
Before we went on break, we were talking about looking at the effect of old national anthem to new one. I want to know how to look at the agitation of the labor. To me, I feel the government they've shifted ground from 40,000 to 60,000 naira, but they were still demanding more. In fact, they are meeting today, and if the meeting is not fruitful, they go on strike. How do you react to that?
Well, in fairness to the government, I think 600,000 naira minimum wage is unrealistic. But in a nation where the severance package and newspaper allowance of a senator who might not attend sittings is about 1.2 million naira.
You are looking from that angle.
And when you look at the inflation rate, in fact, the stagflation rate, we are now in a stagflation. When you look at the cost of living, the price of cement, the cost of fuel, the refusal of this government to diversify this economy, there needs to, and the reliance of non-civil servants on the salaries of civil servants, there needs to be a reasonable increment in the minimum wage. Minimum wage, exactly. And for once, I'm happy that the TUC and the Labour appear to be in unison.
Yes.
You know, the government has a way of dividing people.
Of course.
From ASU, they will bring out Konwa. From NSC, they bring out CUC. You know, from NMA, they bring out Johesu. Just to divide. Now, there is another unit of the MBA. I've forgotten the acronym. And even the NMA, they just want a court ruling that not every doctor must be in NMA. Because they know that it is easier to confuse a divided people.
Of course.
But everywhere unity has been found, the resolve by any government that does not listen to break them is slim. So the government.
So when they are united.
Exactly. I mean, look at these councillors. Some of them, you don't even know if they have 5 credits in WAEC. See what they earn. Then people spend 30 years in government. Sometimes they don't even get their gratuity till they die.
After 35 years.
But these men spend time over time. They leave office, they still get paid, but by taxpayers' money, they go for periodic checkup. They change their SUVs. Why can't the average Nigerian worker be comfortable? And the safety of the Nigerian worker is also a function of the safety of the states.
Of course.
Because an unpaid doctor, an unpaid nurse is a threat to the patients. An unpaid teacher is a threat to the students. An unpaid custom officer is a threat to the safety of our borders. An unpaid soldier or an improperly paid soldier is a threat to the safety of the nation. And so on and so forth. For me, every duty is essential. From the women who sweep our streets to the men who pack our garbages, they are as important as the men who fly our planes.
Because the division of labor, everybody has his own to play.
And for those who are saying that the Lagos to London route is not cheap, how many Nigerians wake up and want to go to London? And for those who say that you cannot easily get a passport, half of this country don't want to leave this country. They would rather get a bag of rice for 70,000 naira than go and get a passport for 70,000 naira.
And don't you feel as a result of the fluctuating naira dollar, that's why the labourers are demanding higher pay?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. But in Libya, in Ghana, in Seychelles, when the people wake up, they do not just oppose their currency with the dollar. Because they produce locally.
Okay.
They have diversified their economy. And their oil or their major earner is not bunkered, it's not racketeered, it's not looted. I mean, look at the general that was in its on the floor of the National Assembly. He said that they seized the ship one time. And after they went to the judiciary, before you know it, the ship was repainted and found its way on the high sea. So nobody knows the amount of barrels of oil sold daily in this country. And that was what Sanusi was saying all his life. And even the waste by the National Assembly. Now you are building a library. This men, people who don't know that the former anthem was a colonial anthem. What will they go and read?
I know somebody said.
I mean, look at the price of renovating the National Assembly clinic. It could give us 6 teaching hospitals in the 6 geopolitical zones, so that at least the average Nigerian who can't fly to Dubai when he has a headache, like these politicians, who can't fly to Germany when he has toothache, can have hope. And when our doctors are well paid, I mean, imagine being a doctor, you are treating a patient and you're also trying to pass an exam to go to UK or Canada. Your mind is not stable.
Yes, it's divided.
It's divided.
Now look at because somebody said that using 1 billion naira to build library, 10 million naira to build the creation center for journalists for the senators. Yeah, how do you compare the two together? How do you manage them together?
I mean, these people are people whose salaries are just too much for them. They can, and they're able to give me constituency allowances that they rarely even devote to their constituencies. The aim of government is to make life better for the people.
Now, with nothing more. With the present situation now, do you have hope for this country, so that we can discourage those who want to japa, that they still keep on praying or whatever, so that our country can be developed?
No, let us be sincere. During the Great Irish Migration, it was because there was stabbing in Ireland. During the Second World War, the Germans who left Germany was because of Hitler's government. Even in Nigeria, we chased the Ghanaians in the 70s.
Of course, yeah.
But today, Ghana the Ghanaian passport is welcome everywhere. So I do not blame any Nigerian who can afford to leave this country. But there's no country where everybody can leave the country. And there's no country where you don't have people who want to remain in the country. Because there are those who also want to see, there are those who are also bothered about their grandchildren's future.
But
who want to make sure that their children can school in Nigerian schools. They can work in Nigerian hospitals. But they can drive safely on Nigerian roads, even beyond their lifetime.
But the president keep on saying that if we leave Nigerians, who will build the country for us?
No country is built only by the politicians. It's always by the governors and the governed. But when the politicians make life hard, even animals migrate from elementary biology. Animals also want to migrate from a place of lack to a place of abundance. So in fact, the government should be careful, because this collective anger internally displaced people. In the north, massacres in Benue and Plateau. Arson in the mosque. The other day, it was a young man that tried to explode the mosque. I mean, imagine if you are from Okwama and you are now in the forest. Just because some soldiers were killed and the army felt the best thing to do is to go and wipe out a village. I mean, that's not democracy. You do your investigation and get the people, get the criminals. That's why we have the army, that's why we have the police. That's why we have the National Security Advisor. That's why taxpayers' money is built to make sure that our soldiers and policemen are trained and retrained.
Now, lastly on this program, I want to look at the safety of journalists now. So if journalists are to be guarded by the government, how do we secure our safety while we are doing our, because it is journalists explain this. How do we secure our safety in the course of doing our duty?
You know, I think it was Thomas Jefferson who had a great hatred for the press and journalists. And in fact, he used the word muckrakers. But after some time, he became transformed like Pantami. And he said if he was to choose between a government without a media and a media without a government, that he would choose the latter. Even in pre-colonial societies, from our town criers, from our market squares, information was life. Technology and science just made it advanced. We cannot be too grateful for journalism, for those who go the extra mile to get us informed. The government should be too grateful that there are people who still risk their lives, who left Shell, the oil companies, who left customs, who left the greater paying jobs, just because of the compelling need to enrich the governed with what they probably will not know. But at the same time, we need to be careful, because for those who are also statesmen or spinners for the agency, sometimes they have a great ability to misinform or disinform. So I also want the people not to forget that they also have a right to hold opinion and express opinion. It is enshrined in the constitution. So let the people also try to be informed. In fact, let me take you back to the Bible. Apostle Paul visited the different churches, but one of the churches he loved from the 7 churches he visited was the church in Berea, because according to him, whenever he taught them, they went to reconfirm if what he taught them was right or wrong. So the citizens too should know that the people's power arises from them, and eternal vigilance remains key.
So just they are not.
And let me say rest in peace to all Nigerians who have died extrajudicially, including and especially the journalists. Thank you, my very good friend.
You remember that, just like we said now, the Bedouin people now, Apostle Paul, they are not like Galatians. I say, foolish Galatians.
Exactly. Or like the Thessalonians who like to stir trouble. So let us also know that as we have good eggs, there's also bad eggs. But journalism like aviation is a place where there should be no bad eggs. Imagine being on a plane and the announcer is telling you, yeah, we have some nice pilots and some bad eggs that can crash you on mountains. No. So we also don't want journalists that will misinform the people, because for some people that is only what they have, especially those in the interlands where there's no access to power, where the national grid has never existed. But with a good radio or a good TV they can hear us.
So that's how far you can go today with Nicolas on Journalists Explain This. He has taken us far in many places so that we can really be informed. I also thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nigerians.
On Nstv Lagos, until another day when we shall meet again on Journalists Explain This on Nstv. I remain your friendly condition. Bye for now and God bless you. Have a nice weekend.